Welcome to Baking with Frank. Frank Rush was a baker at the turn of the 20th century at the Uffelman Baking Company in Cincinnati, and then at his own bakery in Newport, Kentucky. Frank was also my great-grandfather. Through his handwritten batch-sized recipe book, I'm breaking down his recipes and getting to know him better. I'm Tom Mattingly, and this is Baking with Frank. So it's a blustery day in Cincinnati, Ohio. And over the weekend, we had the experience, that's probably the nicest thing I can say about it, of visiting a new restaurant in a town not too far from us. And we were very excited when at the beginning of the meal, they brought out corn muffins. I haven't had a corn muffin probably just down on its own, right, as a snack, in probably 2-3 years. So, exciting thing. And they had this butter with it, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, to say that they were hockey pucks would be to offend hockey pucks. So, it occurred to me that two things. We haven't done an Effie recipe in a minute, and Effie has a corn muffin recipe. So today, we're making corn muffins. Welcome to Baking with Frank. All right, so we're going to get started here. Show you what we're doing. For this one, I don't think we're going to need a mixer. So we have 3/4 of a cup of cornmeal, 1.25 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, of course, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and with that I've put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar, a cup of milk. In this case, we're using 1/2 and 1/2 because that's more like what they would have had. 2 tablespoons of shortening. Shortening was far away. I'm using butter, and an egg. So we are going to make this really as painless as possible. All the dry bits are going in. They're all going to get mixed together. Just like this. I know. It's one of those techniques that, you only learn after almost no studying and really just doing this on the fly on a random weekday. And to that, we are going to add the milk. Are you on the edge of your seat? Maybe while you're doing that, you can hit like and follow. The butter, which is not shortening, but it's butter, because why? Butter is better. And the egg. Yes, I'm going to crack it on the side of the bowl. Yeah, that's who I am. And we're going to mix those in. Break up that egg yolk. Now, we do have every year corn stuffing, dressing, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really fussed about it. For Thanksgiving, in our turkey. So my worst case scenario with these is they end up being part of that. And also I really don't have any idea how many of these it's going to make. So I've got a couple of tins out here. Oven preheated to 350. Welcome back. I am going to get a scoop because scooping is easier, and do some baking spray in the pans because baking spray is easier. All right. Spoon, tray, and this is an ice cream scoop. I don't know what size that is. 2 ounces, 4 ounces, in my case 16 ounces, whatever you got there. So the 4 ounces of baking powder in this surprised me a bit, or 4 teaspoons. That just seems like a whole lot. And I don't know a lot about the science behind baking, but it does look like there's a reaction happening in this dough because it's looking a little puffy already. So I'm going to say that it's working. I don't know if it's, supposed to be working. These could be mile-high corn muffins. Got a little bit on the handle there. We're going to put that back in. When we were kids, we would mostly have cornbread as part of a beans and cornbread dinner, which is something that I still love to this day. There we go. I'm going to scrape that down a little bit. Here, I'm just going to put this in there. Don't tell anybody. This is our secret. Just to kind of get everything back in one spot. Like that. And we're going to get 4 more out of there, but I bet we'll get 2 more. Come on. Everybody out of the pool. All right. I even get 3 more. So it appears that we're going to have just under a dozen of these, which is just fine with me. And yes, I am going to use up every last little bit of it that I can. That was a little light, so we'll put that in there. Of course, the last one doesn't want to come out. Come on, buddy. Give it a scrape. Just to help it along there. All right, so we're going to put those in 350 oven. Oh, look, there's some. Okay. We'll put them in a 350 oven. I'm going to say 1 more. It's not bad. I'm going to start this at 20 minutes. See what happens. It doesn't say, of course, on Effie's recipe, which also right above it has a cornbread recipe, and right next to it has a griddle cake recipe, which bring attractions. So let's see what happens. Going in the oven. All right, so 20 minutes. They already look better than what I had last weekend. We're going to cut right into the middle of one. Oh yeah, look at that. That's 4 teaspoons of baking powder, aka the magic of science. Butter. Yes, that is a lot of butter. But butter is objectively delicious. We're going to give it a shot. If you knew a thing or two about a corn muffin, and I may email this recipe right down to that restaurant. Delicious. You should try it.